Are you, of all people, going to give him a pass for bad behavior because he was high? Is that what they teach you in AA?
They teach us how to make amends when we fall, and I know he's trying to do that with you.
I am so sick of everyone thinking that poor Jack is a victim.
Welcome, my dear listeners. Stay with me to get the spoilers first, and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Young and the Restless. Why are spoilers? Victor plays with Diane's mind, Jack is left in the dark, and Ken comes back to Lily. The current Young and the Restless spoiler trail is leading to two very different kind of fallout, and both are based on the same thing. People are finally picking sides.
And that he deserves compassion from me.
Diane, he was kidnapped.
No one forced him into that bed with her.
We don't know.
Oh my God, what is it with you and Jack? And this unhealthy need to fix each other's lives? You know, that's how we got into this mess in the first place. Jack just had to come to your rescue in that hotel suite. No one else could fix it. Not even your husband, just Jack.
Yes, Jack saved me. And Victor has made sure that he has paid the price.
Over and over again.
That's why I want to help now.
All right, I got an idea, Nikki. Why don't you focus on your own miserable marriage? Because I really don't want or need your so-called help.
Diane, if I could just come in.
Victor Newman and Diane Jenkins Abbott are getting closer to forming a vengeful alliance against Jack Abbott. The week's previews say that Victor and Diane may join forces and then go after Jack. On the other hand, Ken Ashby is slowly getting back into Lily Winter's life after Holden Novak tells her some life-changing family news. This thread keeps pulling Ken and Lily toward another emotionally charged confrontation. People are under a lot of stress this week, holding grudges and using old wounds to get what they want. Victor sees an opening in Diane's anger. What makes the Victor-Diane side of the story so interesting is that Diane isn't coming into this as a neutral party. She is already furious at Jack, already offended by the way her marriage imploded, and already unwilling to let anyone talk her into a soft landing. The recap from April 14 says that Diane turns down Nikki's offer of peace, slams the door in her face, and brings up Nikki's past problem with addiction when Nikki tries to help Jack's case. That tells you Diane is still very upset and not ready to forgive anyone, especially not the people who are closest to Jack. Victor knows exactly how to take advantage of that kind of emotional opening. According to Soap Opera Spy's weekly update, Diane will think about joining forces with someone who wants revenge. And by the end of the week, Victor will have a vengeful proposition for her. Both Soap Hub and the Soap Scoop agree on the same general direction. Victor and Diane are going to work together to take down Jack. The spoiler for Friday says that Victor helps Diane give Jack a taste of his own medicine. That doesn't mean Victor is now Diane's friend. He thinks he can use her anger as a weapon. That's why the word manipulates fits the story even though the spoiler pages don't use it directly. Victor is not contacting Diane out of kindness. He is doing what Victor always does, reading the room, finding a weak spot, and offering revenge in a way that looks like justice. Diane is hurt enough to pay attention. Victor knows it because he's so ruthless. Together, that makes a very dangerous combination for Jack. Jack is surprised when everyone else starts to move. It's not because the spoiler says Jack is blind to the plan that he can be called left in the dark. The news report shows that everyone else is making moves while he is one step behind. Jack turns to Nikki for help on Thursday, April 16. That's a big sign that Jack isn't the one making the rules. He's the one who needs emotional support while Victor and Diane circle around him. By Friday, Victor is actively helping Diane get even, which means that Jack is up against an alliance he didn't see coming. The bigger irony is that Nikki herself has already tried to reach Diane and failed. The recap for April 14 says that Nikki tries to make peace, but Diane shuts her down hard and reminds her that what happened was not just a mistake, but a betrayal. That also means that Jack's closest friends aren't on the same page. Nikki wants peace, Jack needs help. Diane wants to get back at someone or get something back. Victor wants leverage. Nobody is entering this week with a clean emotional advantage. The Abbott side of the family is still ashamed and angry about what happened on the yacht. Diane tells Tracy and Kyle that she is still hurt and angry. Tracy then reminds her that Jack is sick with regret and wants to explain himself. But Diane's answer is telling. She asks where Jack's love was when he was in bed with that nasty woman. Tracy even brings up Diane's own fake death, arguing that she came back, on her family back, and maybe should show Jack the same grace. Diane can see that Tracy is right, but she still can't let go of the pain. That emotional block makes it easy for Victor to get to her. Victor and Diane's alliance is really about Jack, not peace. The key spoiler detail is that Victor's proposition arrives at the end of the week, after Nikki has already failed to get anywhere with Diane. Soap opera Spy says Victor and Nikki's reconciliation attempt to blow up in the beginning of the week because they still do not agree about Jack. And then Victor later offers Diane a vengeful path forward. That order is important. It shows that Victor isn't just making a deal with Diane for no reason. He's still getting involved in a fight that is already hot and using her anger to make the knife sharper that is aimed at Jack. Jack is now reacting instead of leading as a result. He relies on Nikki for help because she is the one of the few people who is still willing to talk to both sides of the issue. But Nikki is also divided. She calls Victor inhuman, tells Victoria that her father has gone too far, and refuses to pretend everything is fine. Victoria pushes back and says that Victor is desperate and out of control, which makes the Newman family look just as broken as Abbott's. Victor is dealing with a wife who is angry, a daughter who is defending him, and an ex-rival named Diane who is open to a revenge proposal. So when the weekly breakdown says that Victor is controlling Diane, it is really talking about a man who sees a chance in chaos. Victor doesn't have to push Diane very hard. He just needs to remind her of what Jack did, how vulnerable she feels, and how much she still wants to feel emotionally stable. That is enough for Victor to set himself up as the one who can make Jack pay. That is often all the manipulation needed in generosity. Holden's shocking news brings Ken back into Lily's life. The Ken and Lily part of the spoiler cycle is emotionally different, but just as full. Holden tells Ken about his new family situation on Tuesday after finding out that Malcolm Winters is his biological father and Lily is his half-sister. Holden also says that he is not a match for Malcolm's bone marrow. That one piece of information changes the whole Winter story. It gives Ken a new family truth to deal with and puts him back in Lily's emotional space, whether either of them wants that or not. The sources of the spoilers make it clear that Lily is not calm when Ken comes back into her life. She is worried about Malcolm's health. She is talking to Stephanie about whether the twins can help, and she is so mad at Ken that she starts to leave when he comes in. The April 14 recap says that Lily has set up transportation for Malcolm, that Maddie and Charlie are willing to help, and that she doesn't want to give Holden a chance because he works for Ken. Lily doesn't trust Ken or Holden. She is tired of all the secrets. That's why Ken's return isn't a romantic one. It's a clash of feelings. Ken comes in, says hello to Stephanie, and then Stephanie leaves him alone with Lily. He tells Lily not to go and that he's worried about her. Lily thinks right away that Holden told Ken about Malcolm's diagnosis, but she feels better when Ken says that Holden only told him that they're siblings. Then Ken says he's sorry and that he understands if she felt the need to get back at him by working with Victor. He asks her to talk to him. She doesn't want to hear it, but the call ends with her phone ringing and her walking away. That scene does a lot in short amount of time. It shows Ken trying to get back in touch. It shows that Lily still doesn't trust him. And it shows how the show uses Holden's bombshell to bring Ken back into Lily's emotional world without fixing anything. So Ken return to Lily is only true in the sense that he is back in her orbit and trying to keep a door open. He's not winning her over. He's trying to get through the talk. Malcolm's sickness makes it hard for the family to stay together. The Malcolm story also keeps Lily and Ken together because it makes them both think about more than just their own anger. The summary says that Stephanie tells Malcolm that his aplastic anemia is serious but treatable. Lily says she wishes she could help him like he helped her during her fight with cancer. Stephanie says that the twins can still start a public re-campaign even if they can't give money. That means the family is doing more than sharing secret. They're making a plan to save Malcolm's life. The donor search angle also helps us understand why Ken's reaction is so important. Holden's revelation to Ken does more than just explain their family history. It helps Ken understand why Lily is so worried and obsessed with Malcolm's health. The April 14 recap says that Lily is worried about Malcolm's health and the fact that she is now related to Holden. That means Ken can either back off again or come back as someone who knows how much all of this hurts. The spoiler says he tries to help. Lily is not ready to let him. That emotional split is important because it is like what happened with Victor, Diane, and Jack. In both stories, someone is trying to make a deal or a truce, but the person who was hurt is still too upset to accept it. Nikki tries to make things right with Diane, but she gets hit. Ken tries to talk to Lily, but she won't let him. Victor offers Diane revenge and sees a chance. The show is clearly in a place where it's too hard to forgive. Trust is at an all-time low, and people are using each other's plan to make the next move on the board. What this means for the next week? It's easy to see the pattern when you put the two storylines together. Victor isn't just using Diane to get back at Jack in one way. He's taking advantage of a family system that is already weak from past betrayals. And the spoiler pages show that system making the perfect cracks for him to get into. At the same time, family news and Malcolm's crisis are pulling Ken back toward Lily. But the reunion is tense, not warm. He tries to be helpful. She won't give in. People who want peace can't get it. People who want revenge are suddenly in the best position. That is how the current 1 hour week really looks. Jack isn't really alone, but a Victor-Diane alliance is keeping him out of the picture, and he doesn't have full control over it. Ken isn't coming back to Lily as a winner. Instead, he is coming back to her emotional battlefield where Malcolm's illness and Holden's revelation have made things even harder. And in both stories, the same 1 hour engine is running. Old grudges, bad timing, and people using pain as money. This is the cleanest spoilers breakdown. Victor is using Diane's anger to attack Jack, who has to find help elsewhere while his enemies move. Ken is pulled back into Lily's world by Holden's family bombshell, but the reunion is too fresh to be called a reconciliation. The stories look different on the surface, but they are made up for the same things: pain, power, and the desire to not let a rival have the last word. That's what makes this part of The Young and the Restless so exciting and unpredictable.